Hello there, welcome to Blitz Transmissions. I'm Tommy, and today I'm kind of launching a new series on my channel called the HasLab Pitch. Now, if you collect Hasbro figures of any kind, it doesn't just have to be Star Wars, you'll know that HasLabs are a big part of the collecting game right now. They are much larger, much more intricate, much more highly detailed, crowd-funded projects that Hasbro puts out across their many brands. Obviously, as a Star Wars collector myself, there are plenty of HasLab projects that I would love to see brought into the Star Wars line. And so, rather than wait for Hasbro to come out with the next one, I figured I would pitch the next HasLab project for the 6-inch Black Series line. Now, Black Series collectors have not had the best track record when it comes to the HasLab projects. Everybody knows about the infamous Rancor that failed, as well as the technically Black Series Reva Inquisitor Saber roleplay item that also failed. So we're 0 for 2, so really if Black Series gets another chance at a HasLab project at this point, it needs to be a certified banger that's guaranteed to fund. And as you can see behind me, I'm a huge Black Series collector, so I came up with one that I think would fund and I think would do really well, and I think the fans would really enjoy. So recording this video towards the end of 2024, we have the 20th anniversary of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, right around the corner in 2025. And what better way to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the most beloved prequel film than to give us a Black Series HasLab. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I introduce to you the pitch for the Black Series Jedi Interceptor 2-pack from Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I think everyone can agree that one of the most iconic moments from Revenge of the Sith is that opening scene. There's the epic space battle that you get to see with Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting to get to the Grievous's invisible hand capital ship. This is a moment that I think sticks out to all Star Wars fans, and I think this is a small enough ship that it would make sense for Black Series collectors to want, and the ships are actually a lot smaller than most other ships in the Star Wars universe, so I think at a 6-inch scale, these would actually do really well. So again, with this 2-pack, you're going to get Anakin's yellow Jedi Interceptor and Obi-Wan's red Jedi Interceptor with the base offering. As far as dimensions go, I went ahead and checked out Wikipedia, which is one of the most accurate sources out there if you're looking for stupid little details like dimensions on fictional ships and vehicles, so I've used those dimensions from the website and converted them to the 1/12 scale. So each one of these ships would be about 18.5 inches in length. You're looking at about 14 inches in width, and you're looking at about 8 inches in height when the wings are deployed on the ships. So really these vehicles are not that large. I would say they're actually pretty comparable in size to the Black Series Snowspeeder, which is an official release from Hasbro. With these dimensions, one of these ships would easily fit on most collectors' shelves. Behind me here are shelves that I bought at my local Target, and these ships would fit on these shelves. Obviously, these would come with deployable landing gear so that you can seat these vehicles on your shelves in a landed position if you so choose. In theory, the landing gear would seamlessly fold and unfold from the underbelly of the ships, making it very easy to display them on your shelves. Additionally, now, a lot of people don't know this, but the astromechs don't actually fit into the Jedi Interceptors in Revenge of the Sith, and a lot of the 3 3/4 inch toys would just have a little plug-in for the astromech's head, because again, the astromechs are too tall for the area that they're supposed to be ported into for the Jedi Interceptors. So for the base offering, there would be included 2 ports of just the top halves of your astromech droids. You'd have R2-D2 for Anakin's, and you'd have R4-P17 for Obi-Wan's. Obviously, these little pieces could be removed from the ship so that if you decided to display these items without the astromechs in their ports, you could do that as well. Very similarly, again, to the 3.75-inch Jedi Interceptors that we saw in the 2000s. Another big feature included in the base offering for these vehicles would be light-up features. You would have lights that activate for the thrusters of the ships in a nice bright blue color, similar to some of the holocom lights that we've seen on the Black Series holocom figures, and you would get some heads-up display lighting for the insides of the cockpit, illuminating the figures inside. And finally, the base offering would also come with flight stands for both ships. These would not be super tall. I'm thinking they would just be a couple inches up off the ground so that you could have the ships with their wings deployed in flight mode. And of course, what would our base offering for this 2-pack be without including a newly sculpted Anakin and Obi-Wan? These guys would have, again, head-to-toe new articulation that matches what is current with the Black Series line here in 2024, and they would also come with soft goods cloaks, as they do wear the cloaks when they get into the invisible hand. And again, in addition to their lightsabers, they would also come with swappable heads so that you could have them displayed in the ship with their headgear on that they wear to communicate with each other, or you could choose to have them without. So, all that said, obviously, it's Star Wars, it's a HasLab. It's probably going to be a pretty penny for this HasLab project. So this HasLab project, I'm guessing, would probably be around $600 if you wanted to get both of these. Yes, it's a very expensive pill to swallow, but that's also just the reality of doing a Star Wars licensed product at such a large scale. And with these pitches, I try to be realistic to what Hasbro would actually do. Usually they do jack the prices up a little bit because they include the cost of the stretch goals into what they budget for the HasLab projects. And the base funding for this project would be 8,000 backers. We've seen pretty consistently with HasLab projects that the 8,000 backer mark is usually where these things start to fund, so I think this is doable for this product. Now let's move on to some of our stretch goals. Now again, I didn't want to go too heavy-handed on the stretch goals. A lot of times they are very supplemental to what you get with the actual release, so I thought it would be fun to just kind of do some little add-ons here and kind of bring out some of the best in what we have. I'm thinking that stretch goals would be doing jumps of 3,000 backers. So every time we get another 3,000 backers on this HasLab project would be when another stretch goal gets unlocked. So obviously stretch goal number 1 would be unlocked at 11,000 backers, and this stretch goal would include something that is very unique to this scene. You get 5 buzz droids. 5 buzz droids, they would have pretty limited articulation. I'm thinking maybe just swivels on some of the legs and some of the tools that shoot out of their nose areas, if you would call it that. But again, 5 buzz droids, I think it's enough to kind of look like they're really covering the ship. And in addition to that, obviously, iconically, R4P17 perishes to the buzz droids, so I would also include in this stretch goal a swappable astromech port piece with the ripped off R4 head. Moving on to stretch goal number 2, which would be unlocked at 14,000 backers, you get some blast effects and flight effects for the Interceptors. These effects would include some bright blue thruster effects that you can plug into the back of the thrusters, and again, with the lights would be illuminated. I think those would look really great, and you would also get some blast effects for the blaster cannons on the front of the ships. And finally, for the third stretch goal, which would be unlocked at 17,000 backers, which is where this project would kind of top out at, I decided to include 2 figures for this tier. It is R2-D2 and R4P17. R2 would just be a re-released figure, but R4P17 would be a brand new figure head to toe. I think including both of them makes a little more sense than just doing R4, because again, you're getting the complete crew for both of the Interceptors. And that about wraps it up for this HasLab pitch. But, you know, as I was sitting there thinking about it, you know, the first thing that comes to mind is, what are collectors going to say? What is some of the feedback that Hasbro would get? And I just know that a lot of collectors would be upset. Maybe some people are only an Anakin fan, maybe some people are only an Obi-Wan fan, and they would feel a little bit left out because they would feel like they have to spend $600 just to get one of the ships because they don't want the other one. And recently with HasLab projects, we've seen them list differences. You have a base version which costs a little less, and then you have deluxe versions which cost a little more. So taking all that into account, I thought it would be kind of a cool idea to maybe have options here. So you would have your main offering, which would be the $600 offering, getting both Jedi Interceptors as well as the stretch goals come out, all of those accessories and extra figures, and then also including an option for $325 a piece, you could get just one of the Interceptors. So if you chose, you could get, for example, just Obi-Wan's Jedi Interceptor, and it would come with just Obi-Wan. You would not get Anakin, you would not get R2, you just get Obi-Wan and R4P17. However, the stretch goals would remain the same. You would still get both R2 and R4 if you reached the third stretch goal and you only got Obi-Wan's Interceptor. Same thing goes for Anakin's. I think this would be a smart way for this HasLab project to help fund itself, giving a less expensive option for collectors to just get maybe one Interceptor from their favorite of that duo. And again, again, listing each individual one at $325 and then listing them both together at $600 makes collectors feel like they're getting a little bit better of a deal for getting both of them as opposed to just getting one. And as I sat down and kind of toyed with that idea more, I think it would make sense then that if you got the main offering, that would count as 2 backs for the total of the HasLab project. So if you get the $600 set and get 2 Interceptors, you technically count towards 2 of the tally towards the end goal of how many units they make. Because then your grand total is based on how many individual Interceptors are being backed as opposed to just how many orders you placed. I think this would also help this HasLab project fund a lot more quickly by, giving collectors the opportunity to get one or both. And with that, guys, that's pretty much it for this HasLab pitch. Let me know what you thought. Do you think this concept of video is cool? If you do, let me know in the comments. If you think this is a bad HasLab pitch, let me know how much it sucks in the comments below. And if you think it's good, share with me some discussion on how you would tweak things or things that would make you most excited about this pitch. Obviously, I'm always rooting for Black Series to get one more shot at the HasLab projects. And again, like I said in the beginning, it really needs to be a banger. And I think that this project could be the one that really sets Black Series into the game for the HasLabs. With that, guys, that's going to be it for this little video here. If you enjoyed and you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to Blitz Transmissions. I've got awesome Star Wars content coming out all the time. Make sure to check out my social media, all of which is linked in the description below. That's going to be all for this video, guys. I'll catch you for the next one, and may the Force be with you.